Now, fish is great when you can cook it properly. And cooking it is not always easy. And if you've lost the will to cook fish because every time you try it doesn't work, I'm going to share with you a simple technique that we use in French cooking, which is shallow poaching fish. You're going to be cooking fish in a liquid. You're going to get a moist fish. You can cook any type of fish fillet that you want, and when it's ready, you can make a sauce with it. Now, how good is this? Now, I personally have tried many ways of preparing just fish fillets. I've tried to grill them, to pan fry them, to steam them, cook them in the oven, etc., etc. Well, sometimes it kind of works. A lot of time it's not a clear kind of science. It's kind of a hit and miss kind of story, and that can put you off from making fish. Because you may look at the fish fillet at the fishmonger and say, oh, that looks good, I'm going to cook it. So what we need here is to secure that simple technique that you can go back to all the time. So you don't have to think, oh, it's going to be complex, whatever. You can just enjoy, oh, I'm going to try that fish, I'm going to try that fish. That's what you want. The rest has to be simple. So we're going to learn today the technique that is called cuisson à court mouillement, aka shallow poaching. It is an elementary lesson you learn at culinary school in France in the first year. And it's the simplest way of cooking a piece of fish, any fish fillet you want. We're going to use a pan. You're going to put a fish fillet, diced shallot, piece of butter, a dash of wine, and in school they use a dash of fish stock, but today I'm going to show you that same technique without the fish stock. And you'll be amazed to see what you can make with just a fish fillet, shallot, butter and wine, because not only are you going to be cooking the fish, but I'm going to show you after that how you can make a sauce out of it. And that sauce is called the sauce vin blanc, okay, the white wine sauce. Not only is the most used sauce in any restaurant in France, but it just tastes absolutely amazing. And honestly, until you try it, it's hard to believe, but let's go for the demonstration. So let's start the recipe and let's talk about the technique. Now, there is a misconception that French cooking is always super complex. You're going to spend hours in front of the stove and the ingredients list is amazing. It's always complex stuff. So let's have a look at our super intricate list of ingredients that we need to poach that fish. We're going to need a piece of butter and a shallot. And with that, a dash of wine. And that's about it. The rest is going to be salt and pepper. Now, once the fish is cooked, we're going to create our special sauce using a few tablespoons of cream and a piece of parsley. Wow, I hope I don't overwork the kitchen here. So when you put everything together, it looks something like that. And yes, I am aware that people will mess in the comment before you jump in the comment. I know that the sauce vin blanc is made with white wine, plus fish fumé when you're poaching the fish. But this is when you set out to make a sauce vin blanc. What I'm trying to show you here is that even if you strip everything down to the minimum, the technique still works. You can poach and cook your fish with white wine, shallot and butter, and you can make the most rudimentary of sauce just by using a piece of parsley. Now after that, it is up to you. Once you master that core technique, you can replace, for instance, the white wine. The white vermouth is going to improve the taste. You can put a fish fumé or even a shellfish stock if you want. You can add mushrooms or tomato or onions or saffron and make a velouté like we did with the salmon video from before with your sauce. There is just no end. But what you need to remember here in that lesson is this. Core techniques, poaching first and how we make the sauce. Let's go. So the first thing we're going to do, you can make some scoring on your fish fillet if you want. We're going to add some salt and pepper. I usually do this on the plate because if you do that in the dish, it's adding too much salt or pepper in the pan, okay? And I'm doing only one side. You can do the other side if you want. Once the fish has been seasoned, I use a sauté pan, super handy, and it's got these high edges. And I'm gonna grab the fish here, up, and I'll put it on here. Very easy. Once the fish is in, shallots. You don't need to put too much, it's 1 or 2 tablespoons, it depends on, it depends, there's no real measurement. Okay, and with that, the butter. So I've kind of cut it in small pieces and I'm going to put it here and there if I can, if he wants to let go, but that's about it. Now, because I'm going to use parsley in my sauce, I'm going to add a hint of flavor. This is again an optional thing, but just a little bit of parsley in there. That's it. All done. So that's the basic you need. From here, you can either just add wine, like I'm going to do now, or you could have that mixture of white wine mixed with a cold fish fumé, aka a fish stock. The amount of wine or fish fumé, the whole mix together, usually about 100 ml maximum is enough. This is why this is called shallow poaching. So it's almost steaming, and you're gonna have that residual sauce gonna melt with the butter, infuse with the shallot, and mingle with the fish flavors, okay? What you're gonna need as well, is typical, you can use a normal lid, but a paper lid is pretty good, okay? For the paper lid, place it over, stick it there. Last time I've put butter on it, but you don't have to. I want to show you the bare minimum of that recipe, the most basic things you can do. Heat on, and we're gonna bring the liquid to a simmer. So you can see in the corner here that this is now simmering. I've reduced my heat already, and the cooking starts. And by the way, you can do that technique on the stove like this in a pan, but if you want, you can do the exact same thing in the oven as well. The oven takes a bit longer. Here the cooking times usually depends on the thickness of the fish. These are quite thick. It could take up to 10 minutes. There's no fixed time for fish, it depends on your fillet. If it's very thin, they're gonna cook very fast. And if it's lemon sole, it's gonna be ready in 5 minutes. This one might take 7, 8 minutes, maybe more. So you keep an eye on it, and we're just gonna steam them gently like this, and we want the fish to be cooked. It's been just about 7 minutes, and my fish looks like it's already cooked. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little basting over here with the sauce, and I'm gonna reserve it on my plate here that I've got on the side. Okay, so very carefully on the plate. Once on the plate, we're gonna add a little bit of the sauce just to avoid any drawing, and we're gonna put the paper that we had back on there while we finish the sauce. And now for the sauce, extremely simple. I'm gonna keep everything in. I'm gonna put this on high heat, and we're gonna bring this to the boil to concentrate the taste. From here, I'm gonna spend about 1 to 2 minutes maximum to reduce the heck out of that sauce until I've really concentrated the flavors. So as you can see very quickly, there's not much liquid. And if you use white wine, it is very important to do this because you're gonna kill the acidity of the wine. If you use white vermouth, you don't need to reduce as much because white vermouth is much smoother than white wine. But for the wine, you have to make sure you've got really just a few tablespoons left. Perfect. So you can see now, it's becoming syrupy, the butter starts to come out, all the grease starts to come out, the wine is gone, and it's time to add 2 up to 3 tablespoons of cream. And then same thing, reduction. After 1 minute reduction with the cream, this is what you're getting. It's nice, lush, it's creamy, it's thick. Taste the sauce. Definitely a bit more of salt and pepper. And we're gonna finish off with a dash of fresh parsley. And we're done. Let me mix that in. Take a new spoon. I'm gonna stir the whole lot, turn my heat off, we're finished. We've done the sauce. What I'm gonna do now is to get back all of this beautiful fish taste and then add the fish back in the sauce. Grab it carefully. And in here, if your fish, for instance, is not totally cooked, you're gonna do that final basting where we're gonna cover the fish with the sauce, finish the cooking, and do a final reduction. So I'm gonna put my heat on very low. That's gonna be it. My sauce is bubbling away, and look the result. See how thick it is? Look at that. And this is what a student in the first year learned to do, how to cook a fish and make a sauce. Beautiful as plate. Okay, so we're gonna stick to the basics here. I've got a bit of an ugly piece here. I'm put on there, okay. And just take out some of the sauce. So you see, all what I wanted to show here is the rudimentary things that you learn at school and how far techniques can go. You see, this is the simplest thing. I'm not adding anything. And what's perhaps difficult sometimes is to get still the fish or the flaking of the fish, as you can see here, you see. It's nicely cooked, but look, you've got a moist, flaky fish, and it's bathing in a creamy sauce, and that sauce can be elevated. If you were to use fish fumet, for instance, that would be much better. The fish is more, I love that technique. Look at this. It's not dry, it's not boring, and you've got the sauce with it. And honestly, it's a beautiful one. Wow. Now, with a little bit of decoration, this is the kind of thing you can make. I've got a piece of parsley, a piece of lemon, and I've sprinkled some paprika powder around. And these are some grated lemon zest. But realistically, this is what someone with zero knowledge of cooking fish and making a sauce can do at home using that technique. Now, don't get me wrong, It's a great sauce by just using wine, but the true sauce vin blanc has got the wine and the fish fumé taste much better. So my advice here, to use it at home only with wine or spirits, use white vermouth instead. It is drastically different, it is much sweeter, and honestly with the white vermouth, you almost don't need stock. The rest is for you to imagine. You can make all kinds of versions that you want. You can add anything that you want in the cream. Like I said, mushroom, saffron, tomatoes, onion. It is really up to you to make your own sauce. But that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the technique. I hope you're gonna try it out, and please let me know what you thought in the comment section, because this is one of the most important cooking techniques when it comes to fish in France, and I hope it's gonna be useful for you and you're gonna start to explore all kinds of fish out there because they are great. Okay, I'll see you all next week for another French cooking video. Take care all, bye bye.